everybody, and welcome to Gay2k, a podcast for nostalgic millennial queers. I'm Sarah.
Hey, I'm Alex, and this is the first time I'm hearing the title. I like it.
Today on Gay2k, we will be talking about the movie But I'm a Cheerleader. You remember the first time you saw it?
I really don't. I really had a hard time remembering. I think I saw it with friends, but when did you remember it?
Right? So I know, or I have a memory of when we got to college, the queer group on campus host it for a night or whatever. They did that maybe once a month or something. They had viewings of stuff. Do you remember that at all?
Vaguely.
And I feel like maybe I saw it then, but I also have this memory that could very well be fake, of seeing the DVD case in Blockbuster.
Absolutely did. I absolutely saw it at Blockbuster.
And at that time, I think I had already seen American Pie. I was probably with one of my parents, and I was just like, oh, this is somebody from another movie that I saw. And they didn't probably ask me any questions because my parents really didn't care. I very luckily was not very censored when it came to media.
From the outside, that looked like love. But they didn't care, and you picked it up. Did you watch it with them, or did you watch it alone?
See, I do think the first time I ever saw this movie, my dad was in the room.
Oh,
and I don't know if he had any idea what was really going on when we started watching it. I remember him, being kind of because the film is over the top, and it is stereotypical, and it's...
And the parents are the bad guys. That has to be hard to watch, as a parent, probably.
Yeah, and I certainly wasn't out or even aware of myself.
I know that I watched it in, I don't know whose, but it was someone's basement or bedroom, senior-esque year of high school. And that's about it. I know I watched in bits and pieces, referenced all the time, clips and whatnot. But I definitely wasn't interested in it because it was a lady movie. It was a girl movie, and it didn't read queer to me at all. I had no idea who she was. No idea what she did for the longest time.
Yeah. Well, I think at that time, too, there were lots of movies about chicks making out, and most of them were directed by dudes in films that were starring dudes, and...
I saw, not Great Expectations. I always call it that. It's not. The one with Ryan and Sarah Michelle Gellar and...
Oh, Cruel Intentions.
Cruel Intentions. It's basically the same to me.
Cruel Intentions, Great Expectations.
It's the Great Expectations of our time.
Why not? Yeah.
So,
no, that's a good point, though. Is that is the backdrop of women kissing women that certainly was... the only thing that we would see before this point. But I'm a Cheerleader is a movie about a girl named Megan who is a vegetarian and a cheerleader who everyone in her life comes to the conclusion for her that she is queer, lesbian, gay, I think is actually the word they use.
A pervert is the first
word they use.
It's the first word she uses.
Oh.
I'm not a pervert. I'm a cheerleader. Whatever the line is. Yeah.
Oh.
I know.
And so ultimately they decide to send her to a conversion therapy camp called True Directions. And we'll talk a little bit more about conversion therapy in detail in a bit. Why don't you go into your deep dive and what you found out about Jamie and kind of the whole environment around making the film.
And so I found a couple of articles, very just Jamie talking about her movie and what she thought and why she wrote it. I really liked that she was trying to create a space for women like her, lesbians like her. And I found that really empowering and very, very 2000s. Very no one's doing it yet. No one is doing it at that time.
Yeah. When you say women like her...
Feminine.
Yeah.
Feminine lesbian.
Femme on femme. In quotes.
I don't know if she was...
Just the femme perspective in general.
Yeah. I'm not a bull dyke or sports lesbian or very stiff and rigid, although Natasha Lyonne is very, very tight upper body. It sounds like I'm talking about her musculature. She's very physically stiff, whatever. Probably that cheerleading outfit. I don't know. But yeah, she was just looking for a femme girl, and she nailed it. She nailed creating a character with Natasha, probably, that was queer as hell, but also very girly. Like,
yeah,
she matched her barrettes. I don't know if you noticed it, but she matched her barrettes while she was in New Direction, so she only wore one pair that matched whatever the pink that she was required to wear. And it looks so stupid, but I didn't notice until she changed clothes that she had different barrettes, and that it was a choice.
That is such an interesting choice.
Oh.
As I rewatched the movie, the thing that's stuck out to me, of course, is Clea Duvall and the character of Graham in general. The first time we see Graham, she's lying on the bed in that horrible New Directions pink on pink outfit, but she has her Doc Marten boots on the bed, and it's like a full body shot of her lying on the bed reading a magazine and smoking a cigarette. And I'm sure when I was early queer, I watched that and was like, damn, that's cool. I either want to be her or want to do her, and I don't know which. I'll settle for both.
And you had college to figure that out.
And watching it as an adult now, my first thought was they're smoking in that room? I'm so old.
How long has smoking been illegal indoors now?
It's like a state by state thing, right? Did you read any reviews that were written around that time about it?
I should have, but I did read her comments on reviews, specifically how other queer voices were critiquing her film. And this is where my deep dive had to stop, because I had to really process. Babbitt confronted in the media that a lot of queer directors or queer voices were giving bad critiques on her one-dimensional characters. And a one-dimensional character teenager in a trauma event. From my personal experience, I know that your life is in that suitcase. Whatever happened in the past is in the past, because all you have right now is to deal with this one conundrum. Mm-hmm. You're a freak. Figure it out. How do you deal? How do you learn the fucking 5-step, 12-step program that was created? And there's not a lot of space to toggle who you are or to bring out who you are, because the whole purpose is to repress. I don't know. It just really pissed me off that she wasn't backed up by other critics of her time.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of, even still in our community, seen as this oddball, quirky mock film. And yeah, it is an offbeat and it is comedic, but I do think there's a lot of heart there and a lot of sincerity, and there are some shots that are beautiful. And I mean, to this day, that sex scene of them is beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's one of the most just seems natural, and yeah, I just really applaud Jamie behind the lens. It's really sincere.
The music, that's the queerest music I'd ever heard, and I kept trying to find out who some of that stuff was, because I need to have that vibe back in my life. I need to, my dried out carcass of a 36-year-old needs to be rejuvenated by this youthful message that is ridiculously helpful. And while it's touching on deep, hard issues, it's soft and kind the whole time. Mm-hmm. And Technicolor. And how can you hate it in its Technicolor beauty? It's just nice. She did a good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Babbitt.
I mean, and also, you can say all that and also acknowledge that there are some elements that are ridiculous and over the top, like the wrench and 2 lug nuts that line up to look like a penis. I mean, that was a choice. That was not an accident, So there are some moments that are the camp and beyond camp, very overtly camp. And
even if you want to call it camp, I know that in those moments when you're repressing sexuality, you see it everywhere. And so it was more irony to me that they escaped it, they moved it. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's my whole psychology background, mental bullshit, but
that's kind of a beautiful way of thinking about it. if you look at it as everything that you see, you're seeing through the eyes of one of the campers, then, you know, the ridiculousness of it. You know, if you're Megan looking at it, then you see all of these gay images everywhere,
or
right?
Even one of those boys when they're doing their, when RuPaul is getting through this military type course, there is a cutout of, like, you can't see my finger guns, but watch the movie. There's
like a soldier holding a rifle,
and the other one's like looking up, but these stills are spaced apart. But from the angle of the camera, it's clear that it's a dude jerking off into someone else's mouth, but it's just set and it's not moving. It's all one plastic color of blue or green. And it's hilarious. It's absolutely well done.
I can't think of any other film that I've ever seen RuPaul in.
Brady Bunch. She's the counselor.
Oh, shit.
She's
Yeah, see,
counselor.
I knew that, like, the mid-90s were, like, a RuPaul-heavy era. Like, thank God we had RuPaul. She was kind of everywhere.
We gotta touch a note on that. But yeah, she played a female in that one, and he was a man in this one.
Do we know RuPaul's preferred? Is it just based on...
I think it's like drag. He's him when he's playing a man, and she is RuPaul when she's up there.
A queen? Okay.
With the wigs.
I get that. It is very 90s.
Well, we are very 90s. We
Yes.
can't undo that. Sorry, next generation.
Like, we can leave it recording for now, but we need to talk about...
Natasha Lyonne, Clea Duvall, Melanie Linsky.
Linsky, yeah.
Let's talk about those ladies.
Okay.
They're pretty cool. I'm more interested in what you had to say about Clea Duvall, because I didn't do a lot of...
Okay.
She's just...
Wow.
lesbian.
Okay. So that, which is funny, and, like, I never, like, questioned Clea Duvall's sexuality, right? What year do you think she came out of the closet?
Oh, for fucking sure 2008.
No.
2010. Late.
Absolutely. Even later than that.
Jiminy Christmas.
Clea Duvall was not out to the public until she got caught kissing somebody in a park in 2016.
Who was watching her?
I don't know. I don't know who the paparazzi were that found that out, but that's
And fucking big deal. After that movie, Natasha Lyonne and Clea Duvall were like not nude, but nipples out on Out magazine, just kind of like holding each other, super cute. But like,
yeah. Natasha Lyonne also straight, sort of. Not that it matters. Okay, Natasha Lyonne is badass. Okay, that we could. This is a topic that needs to be addressed. Natasha Lyonne played that character when she was 19, and like she did some press. She was on Jay Leno, and like, you know, she would drop, oh, my boyfriend, you know, blah blah blah, into various conversations, but she never like was like, no, let me clarify, I'm straight, which is very cool, because I feel like that certainly happened to a lot of people in the 2000s. If they were playing gay characters, they were like, just so you know, I'm not gay.
she never hated being portrayed as a gay character in movies, and she didn't bring that angst or anxiety to any of the press releases.
Right.
I think in her older time, she got older times when she became our age. She just was resistant.
The age that we are now.
5 years ago, 8 years ago. You know, I'm really tired of you all suggesting that I should apologize for this, or I should be so courageous about it, or whatever. Like,
well, she married Fred Armisen, like SNL's Fred Armisen.
That reads queer to me.
I kind of see Tom Holland and Zendaya in the same light. Like, I understand that they are, you know, probably categorically a heterosexual couple, but if you like look at them, if you look at Fred and Natasha and you see them on the red carpet, like you understand their gender roles, but also understand that it doesn't fucking matter to them, and that they relationship dynamics are not what anybody would expect. And I think that in itself is a little queer.
There's a Barbie and a Ken. I mean, Natasha Lyonne and Fred Armisen, you could say that's about their looks, but I think you bring up a really good juxtaposition that young couple, like, yeah, they are.
Yeah. There's something about it that reads. We were talking about Clea Duvall and then got sidetracked and talking about the adorableness of their queerness. Listen to this back is going to be crazy.
It's going to feel so natural. But Clea Duvall came out in 2016 after being forced out of the closet.
Yeah. So and I think I read this in a Jamie Babbitt interview that's happened recently. I wish I had the source, but basically Jamie Babbitt was the only one doing queer press with the exception of that Out magazine cover that they're on. Clea, who was out on set, like everybody knew it, like her agent was like, you can't do Out magazine. And Jamie Babbitt was like, no, you're doing it.
That is so, that whole part right there, where the person in charge of your gateway to success says you can't do that, that hits real hard. That's
yeah. Having no agency to be who you really are, despite the fact that like millions of young queers are already connecting with you and either wanting to be you or fuck you, as I stated earlier. She's had a fabulous time of coming out and realizing that she is the gay icon that she is and fully embraced it. She produced a gay holiday rom-com on Hulu called The Happiest Season. It's got Kristen Stewart and Mackenzie Davis in it. Kristen Stewart reads as Kristen Stewart usually does. It's great. Aubrey Plaza is also in it. It's great. It's a really good time. It's on Hulu.
I think I saw some references to that. Yeah.
And then she is currently working with, or most recently was working on, the freebie show High School, which is based on Sarah and Tegan Quinn. Sarah and Tegan's memoir turned TV show. Colby Smulders plays their mom, you know, because they were Canadian, she's Canadian. How I Met Robert Schimanski from How I Met Your Mother. What that needs to mean.
Because she's Canadian.
What?
It's a beautiful accent.
They're Canadian, she's Canadian.
There's tons of Canadians, but yes, that's viable.
You're right, there are a lot of Canadians.
She's always been an out loud Canadian. She's always been very open about that. Good for you.
Never too reserved about her Canadian lifestyle.
It's not a lifestyle, that's who she is.
So yeah, I mean, I think Clea Duvall has really cemented herself in the role that she had always deserved to be in, which is, you know, queer icon, filmmaker.
To work as hard as she has, and to have had some of the barriers that she had to confront and live with, and secrecy and all that, I can totally... Plus, she's probably feels much more at ease off the camera. Again, who wouldn't?
So, 2016, this year that she was publicly outed, she also was working on a film called The Intervention, or maybe it's just Intervention. It's an independent film, and it has the three of them in it. Melanie, Natasha, Clea, obviously. Colby Smulders is also in it, so maybe they made that connection then, and it has something to do with her being a Canadian.
Women!
And Melanie's husband, Jason Ritter, John Ritter's son. Clea and Natasha are reunited in their roles of playing lovers in that film. Probably one of the biggest reasons why I give Natasha a permanent pass in my mind to play queer is there's this scene where they're fighting, and Natasha's character is shouting at Clea about how she misses having sex with men. And it comes off so fucking fake because she's acting like she's just saying these words to hurt her partner, right? And it's just such this, like, moment where I'm like, you win, Natasha Lyonne. Aside from Nikki Nichols and the amount of swagger that she brings to Orange is the New Black, like, there's something about that role in the movie Intervention that's so queer. Then it's great.
Pull that apart a little bit. You said that she has a past for being queer forever. I know we've recently come to these politics where if you're gay, we want you to play gay. And if you're straight, we want you to play straight. And I feel like we are a continuum of history. You can't just stop playing the character that you recorded on the VHS playing. Robin Williams, God rest his soul, he can play gay from beyond the grave, and he could have kept playing gay until the end. I would give him a pass for that. And Nathaniel, I forgot his name.
Nathan Lane?
Nathan Lane, thank you.
Isn't he queer?
Is he queer? I don't think he... Oh.
I feel like he is.
Take away my gay card.
Because I feel like... No, you're talking about Robin Williams. I feel like there was a time when Oprah... Because Oprah... And I know that we weren't aware of this at the time, but she asked some hella inappropriate questions. And I think she asked Nathan Lane, like, point blank, like, about his sexuality, and Robin Williams said something, like, beautifully funny and changed the course of the conversation so it wasn't about that topic. So
I haven't watched that.
Yeah, look it up. I think that Nathan Lane, yes. And I think he's, like, open now, but I could be wrong and we might have to delete this whole segment.
I might have forgotten in general.
Yeah.
But, like, I know he wasn't out at the time.
Mm-hmm.
My point being, like, Natasha Lyonne can play gay forever because the characters that she is on screen, the not Natasha Lyonne, the vision of her on camera, her first love was a lesbian love. Like, the image of Natasha Lyonne and what that image plays out will always be hella bisexual, heavy on the lesbian. For me, because that's the first I saw her in. Well, maybe I did see her in American Pie? Yeah, American Pie.
But even her character in American Pie is very lesbian coded.
Yeah.
Like, like, there's no way that character is interested in men now. I'm just gonna say that.
I love that. If she were to come back in an American Pie on a reunion.
American Pie 30-year high school reunion.
Yes. Yep. And Sean William Scott's character is a little bisexual, just because I want that.
Yeah, there's gotta be a reason for Stifler to be
so
that way. Yeah.
That way.
That'd be beautiful, right?
I mean, they did crank up the insecurities of his heterosexuality over time. They did that well. Did you know that Natasha Lyonne was paid more than all the other people in that film because they wanted her so bad?
I did not.
Yeah! Paid more than everyone else billed in that first film. Pretty cool trivia that goes nowhere. What was I saying? But
I have no idea what we're... Oh, gay for pay.
Yeah, I was addressing the gay for pay thing. Like,
and you looked up the actors? None of that? Like, that you know of? Or, like, nobody jumped off the pages.
From this movie?
From But I'm a Cheerleader.
Prince Zuko playing... let me pull up the cast.
Prince Zuko?
From Avatar, The Last Airbender will know that Prince Zuko, Dante Basco, who played Dolph, his voice just, when I was watching it with my roommate, that voice like piqued both of our ears. And he was also the lead in...
Ralphio or whatever?
Yeah. Hook.
Yeah.
Thank goodness he didn't go away, but Dante Basco, he plays one of the queers. I tried to look up Katrina Phillips. She reads hella queer. I want to talk about that character. Jan? What was her line? I just want a big dick in me, or something like that. Yeah. She's really frustrated with that just because she's not effeminate.
Yeah, I'm not gay just because I like sports and dress this way. Everybody thinks I like girls, but really I just want...
Was one of the other comments that she said, which was telling. I don't know what Babbitt was after with this character, but before that conversation, before she like came out to everybody, she was introducing herself and she said, "I like balls." Sinead? Sinead. I was super hurt when they're like clearly flirting for us on the audience. We can clearly see that there's this connection, and then she goes and dances with Sinead. Graham and Sinead dance, and like they pull apart because Megan gets sad. And I'm like, yeah, Megan, you do get sad. And then Graham just drops Sinead just cold on the dance floor. And that hurt me so much. Like, that was claws in my teen heart, or like...
Oh shit, yeah, no, We've been used like that. Who hasn't?
Who hasn't? But I was like, I don't. Fuck you, Babbitt.
Yeah. Come on.
I felt for Sinead for like the rest of the film the first time I watched it, and that's how I really know that I've watched it before, is because of how strongly I felt for Sinead. Then I found out Graham's backstory is like she can't have her.
Yeah, she's a rich gay.
Yeah, her background is she's a rich gay. Yeah.
And she would rather that than it takes her a lot and a cheer to be convinced to walk away from the money.
It was not a strong cheer, and that's okay. But that being Graham's whole background, I wanted to ask you when we got here, do you think in 2024, do you think Megan and Graham are together?
Like, did they stay together after going through that? No, absolutely not. There's no world in which those two characters experiencing that level of trauma together, unless they literally stayed together in order to not be homeless, which, no. Like, if they got to a point where they had stable jobs and had income, I think at some point in time they would have drifted apart.
So in 2000, there's no freaking way that they're going to get, like, enough college money on their lonesome to go to school.
No.
There are scholarships, yes, but she's a cheerleader. They didn't talk about her grades. And
Graham
doesn't talk about school.
Would either of them even have graduated?
Or wanted to go to, I think.
Like, maybe they would have gotten GEDs.
Or didn't.
Like, it's hard now, like, watching that movie and being like, oh, come on, kids, you totally fucked up your life, right? But, I mean, that is the reality. Some people have to escape from everything they know in order to be who they truly are. And if you don't have any type of support network or friends who are also with you, then it becomes like that person that you connected to is your everything, right?
Until they found drugs. For fucking sure. In my life history for them, they are okay for a while. Then they fight a lot because they just can't live the lives that they want to live or see the life that they want to live. And if some stronger, older woman, maybe that blonde that was dancing on the dance floor, doesn't come and pick them up and adopt them for a while, I see them coming back and forth like magnets for a long time until they get the drugs. Until probably the dancing lady, because that's something they didn't talk about was alcohol or smoking, because it wasn't about that distraction. It was about children having to face conversion therapy. But the aftermath, the therapy, I'm certain that Graham would crawl back to her parents. Absolutely. They probably both would have.
At some point, absolutely they would have had to.
I mean, you just do, because you're a kid growing up, you miss your parents. It just happens. I forgive all of you that did it. I definitely did it. I don't know. I think that they would have, had that 10, 15 year gap where they don't talk to each other. And then in their, like, late 30s, they're like, hey, hi, life's good. Okay. It was a sweet, like you said, the sex scene felt so pure. And obviously the music was just us. There wasn't music for them.
Yeah, because there would have been no way for them to listen to music randomly, unlike this generation who could just pull out music on their phones. You have to plan that shit in advance if you want music for your lovemaking.
That's true, and then the record stops. Where were they even having the sex?
So, you know that doghouse that they put the one guy in? Yeah, Sonny. Yeah, Sonny from Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. He was Clayton Dunn. And
Clayton.
Played by Kit Pardue. Yeah,
which is probably comical, but also, unfortunately, some reality that there are some exclusionary. So yeah, that's where they have sex the first time, is in the
doghouse.
In the doghouse, yes.
Were either of them in trouble?
No, they just ran off in there one night, I think.
That's wild that she left that unlocked. Is there a bitch joke in there?
No. The one line that jumps out to me is, "You hormonal hussy."
Oh, yeah.
I just, that's just so, like, you know, that woman who ran that camp wrote that down once when she thought it and had been waiting for a time to say it to some poor queer child.
Miss Mary Brown, played by Kathy Moriarty. Beautiful woman, great voice. I haven't seen her in a lot of things. I know that she's referenced in a lot of things, but...
Before our time. I feel like Kathy Moriarty is... yeah, that character was...
She was the bitches back in Casper. I remember that. She was the bad lady.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, tons of stuff before her.
The notion that this film is about conversion therapy is everywhere around the film, but it's also, like, hyper unrealistic while being rooted in, like, buzzwords about conversion therapy. Like, yes, there's a 5-step program, and there's, you know, they use the word aversion therapy when Sinead is zapping herself and also masturbating with the aversion.
She introduced herself. I think she says she likes pain.
Yes.
Was this her first real full-length film, or was it her second?
Who is
Babbitts.
with her? Yeah, I think it's her first featured film. Yeah.
So, like, she's playing this story real Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it even has title cards.
Oh, right, I forgot about the
break up
title
the
cards.
steps of...
Intentional,
Yeah.
not childish.
Conversion therapy. I looked into the history of it, and, I mean, it's been around for a very long time in various forms. Exodus International was the company that was the biggest in the 2000s. I think they had a stack that I'm pulling out of nowhere that I could probably look up better. Somewhere in the 250s offices in US and Canada and by 2006. So, I mean, like, these did exist. Like, I don't know if I know anybody who, like, went, like, a camp, like, conversion program. Like, I know there are people whose parents sent them to see therapists to talk to them about their sins and that kind of thing, but I don't know anybody that went through, like, a 12-step program.
The 12-step program part was just based on her Babbitt's experience with her mom running 12-step programs.
Yeah, oh yeah, I did read that, right. So that's kind of...
where that bit came from, but supposedly maybe there are. I don't...
Yeah, I've never been to one.
I have not been to one. I've been more familiar with the Parade Away situation, which is something that we were made more aware of in college.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally met someone in 2019. I met a person who told me that they had experienced that as a child or as a young adult.
So, like, they had been gay and then
Had the
prayed
conversion
the
therapy.
gay away
Yeah.
and then kind of...
Continue to go to therapy to help themselves out and to continue to work on themselves, because it is a trauma. It is an institutionalized trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just changes your whole brain. Your whole... If anyone who doesn't have experiences that make you second guess every single action just before and just after you've done it, the mental work is taxing. And to add the additional mental work to fix it, yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah. And while most health organizations worldwide have come out against it, in the United States there's no, like, nationwide ban. Now, the U.S. right now is kind of sliding into the abyss. There are lots of policies that are not people friendly, much less just LGBTQ people friendly. But yeah, I mean, I want to say that we've made progress. I think maybe But I'm a Cheerleader is part of that progress, because I don't know if I was really aware of conversion therapy before this movie. Like, I mean, I had, like you said, I had heard the, like, yeah, you need to talk to a priest or something, right? That kind of...
The culture was there.
Yeah.
The culture was there.
The notion that there was something wrong with you that could be fixed by an authority figure who could make you think differently or would show you the error of your ways, yeah, certainly been exposed to that, but exposed to, like, a but not exposed to like a program of any kind that was reprogramming or deprogramming my brain.
What was the phrase that someone used? I can't remember it. What do you use for future cult members? When you're recruiting, you've recruited them. After you've recruited them, you install, not instigate, indoctrinate. Because that's part of the process. You indoctrinate them into a new family to hate theirs or to despise yourself. But you and I have not been indoctrinated into society that would teach us to love ourselves but not the sin, perhaps, or whatever catchphrase works.
And I think a lot of it has evolved, like the sentiment of sexuality and those who have, sexual feelings that aren't heterosexual in the church and churches in general has changed a lot since 2000. The separations that I see the most talked about are probably like the sexual attraction versus acting on those attractions, right? Like homosexual attraction is okay because you can pray it away, but having homosexual sex, that's the sin, right?
Yeah.
And I don't feel like in the 2000s, I feel like even the thought itself was like it having any thoughts made you a sinner, right?
I honestly don't remember, and I'm not a theologian or part of a practicing group of religious people. But I have a hard time seeing the parallel between the thought and the action. I know there's clearly a difference. I can think about stealing and not act on stealing. However, thinking about infidelity, specifically having lustful thoughts about your neighbor's wife, that is the sin.
Yeah.
As much as acting on it is. For some people, not for all groups.
For anybody that hasn't seen the film, at one point in time, the campers are sitting around having free time, and a paper airplane folded up like a flyer lands on the lawn, and one of the boys opens it, and it's a flyer from these two gay guys who are running a free house of people who have escaped from this program, inviting the kids that are currently there to run away with them in the middle of the night to at least try to go to this openly gay bar. And those two gay guys' names are Larry and Lloyd Morgan Gordon.
Yes.
Larry and Lloyd Morgan Gordon. That is a name.
And yeah, they're just very sweet. They live in this real rough-looking house, and it's not immediately evident that they boarded up their windows because there's a chance that those kiddos at New Directions are gonna throw rocks at it. Is it not New Directions?
I think it's True Directions.
True Directions.
Is New Directions the name of the Glee group?
Yes. Very gay. Very gay.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's gay for me. But I don't know what they do for jobs.
No, that's not relevant, right? It goes back to the one-dimensionalness of characters. Is it moving the story along? Is it anything relevant to Megan's process?
And why the fuck would Megan care? It's just a house to be safe in.
Right.
I have been to plenty of people's houses as a child and did not know what the parents did. And did not care until I knew that I needed to make money. And that's not on her. She is, how old is Megan?
17, right?
Her whole purpose is cheerleading. She's made that very clear. That's all she cares about. And now it's cheerleading and having a love life.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but I'm a cheerleader.
I think you're right. The one-dimensionalness is obvious, but it's very true to the experience of being a 17-year-old displaced or being a child displaced. Why it is so one-dimensional? Because a child doesn't care or need to care about those things. Her bandwidth is fully at this moment, in this film, is about having the life that she wants for her. She's a selfish girl. Big deal. I don't mean like selfish girl in a bad way. She's a kid. There's no one else in her life. Her boyfriend exists, who sucks. By the way, let's talk about that. Her high school relationship. I really liked her high school life, we had watched a little bit of the film together, and we're talking about the opening scene where the cheerleaders are jumping up and down, and you had said that's not the male gaze. It's clearly different.
Yeah, I mean, for me, just the way that, I mean, yes, there are tits and ass in the shots,
And
but
abs and butts.
But there's also legs and abs and the muscles bending and, you know, contracting and expanding, and it's a very different lustful gaze. And then you pointed out too, like, it's just kind of like crossing past you because you're Megan in that moment, and you're just being like, you know, exposed to these sexy moments, and you're not like staring, you're just this cheerleader who happens to have boobs there and then ass here and, you know, expanding back muscles and abs, and yeah, it's I really like that opening sequence.
It's pure. It's not, the male gaze nowadays is very much like we watch, we perv, we track the whole thing. This is just a settled, still gaze, and they just come in and out. Yes, she has selected a lifestyle that surrounds her with. I just think that's a very interesting way to go about it, and I think it was very successful in telling us that yes, she is just a cheerleader for reasons.
I think one of the perhaps contradictions to me in the before the program is the Melissa Etheridge poster on the wall. I don't feel like high school cheerleaders in the late 90s would have been listening to Melissa Etheridge. But I know that she's different, right? So they're just showing all the ways that she's different than her friends, and Melissa Etheridge would be one of them. And maybe that alone,
I feel you though,
was enough.
That pillowcase with the Georgia O'Keeffe knitting on it.
Yes.
I thought it was a very cute shot that she just kind of puts her head right above the image of the vulva, and I have to think, why, parents?
Yeah.
Did you buy that?
Yeah.
Did she pick that out?
Did she go to a flea market and it's like
I don't know their life ticket. Yeah, maybe it was a flea market.
Yeah.
The 17-year-old just
store.
Did she grab it out of grandma's old stuff and was like, this is the one I want. This one's my favorite.
I don't even is that a common thing? Like Georgia O'Keeffe-esque pillows? Like, I don't remember. Maybe my family was just very straight before me, but I don't remember any vulva motifs.
You could have a vulva motif where there's the Egyptian-esque reeds and papyrus little flowers and stuff like that. Lotus things. But this was specific. This is a very specific cross-stitching or something. It was...
Then she puts her head on every night. Yeah. There was yeah.
And yeah, it was intended to be over the top, and it was intended to be surprising for her because she could not connect all these things, right? Right. She didn't connect all these
vegetarianism, Melissa Etheridge, and vulva pillow. And the picture of the swimsuit model in her locker. Which initially, about her locker, and again juxtaposed to the other character played by Michelle Williams,
the good cheerleader. A poster of some male, and Megan has, I think, a swimsuit model and again an orange tank top and stuff like that. Initially, when I first watched that, when I watched it again, I didn't see that as gay. I saw it as totally appropriate.
Yeah, that doesn't read as overtly.
Yeah.
Like a fashion icon moment, right? You really want to wear that swimsuit. But then again, we're saying all these things as Megan sees them, right? So...
Good job, Babbitt.
Her monologue, right? When she is there and she's like, I'm not gay, I don't like to kiss my boyfriend.
Who's a bad kisser? We need to talk about that.
Yeah. Like all of these things that like stack up that are obvious to people around her, but even like us as the audience watching her, we're like, what? Like, I don't understand.
Tried to make us eat this tofu. Which looked gross. That was an intentionally ugly shot.
Well, and like, I feel like that vegetarianism and gay culture could be a whole topic of its own, in which I need to research more. And a lot of gay culture aligns with just kind of like societal, cultural movements, right? So, who knows, right? I don't necessarily read vegetarianism as an instant. I mean, there's literally nothing that Megan did up until the point of
post-therapy.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it unlocked it. Being in conversion therapy.
I mean, maybe that's the other...
Helped her acknowledge and then express.
Maybe that's the alternate reality. In the future, she realizes that she was straight the whole time. Conversion therapy just made her more bisexual.
Oh,
for a moment. The darkness.
Right.
So, the boyfriend kissing, that situation, maybe was made more grotesque for the audience. What? Dudes kiss like that.
That's so gross. I'm so sorry.
It's true. And for the audience to know, Sarah stopped me from continuing to kiss like that. I've given her credit in the past. We do because we see it. We see people kissing that way, I guess. There's a lot of comparisons in this film. I thought the kissing comparisons or the touching between two women and the touching between this classic boyfriend-girlfriend, I loved it. Nothing made my heart melt more than in conversion therapy when they're gently holding each other's arm, or their fingers are just crawling against one another.
Yeah, that scene.
So sweet. Or just like looking into each other's eyes. That soft. It's not even soft because they're female, because the guys were going through it too. Just gently looking at each other, or staring at Mary Brown's son all the time, just jaw dropping, easy into it. But this forced heterosexuality that Megan experiences in the beginning, if she had another boyfriend who maybe had been around the block, maybe not even. Sarah has a big no for that.
I don't know. Not all boys are horrible kissers. It's not like a fact, okay? It's a fact in Megan's world as she sees it.
It's a fact in my world that most, when guys get into it, sometimes, I clicked a lot of teeth with a lot of different dudes. And that's not the hottest way to call kissing.
There are some women who are into that, like, swallowing you with their mouth thing. If that's your flavor and you find somebody who it's their flavor, more power to you. Like, good on you. It certainly looks nasty on film, though. Like, there's no way to make whole mouth swallowing a thing.
Oh, and they did it so good.
It is particularly grotesque.
Scary.
In the scene.
Is it Heimlich? Is that what's going on?
Or if you're trying to give, you don't give somebody CPR with their tongue. It is full open mouth on top of her open mouth with his tongue jutting in.
We assume, because you can't see that on film, but the way their heads are crisscrossed in order to make this kissing happen, that's the truth. That's the truth as we see it from the outside. Yeah, it was rough. Natasha Lyonne went through it for us. For herself, I know. She's an actor.
She's an excellent actor. She did very well at looking disgusted by it. Yeah, that's Jamie Babbitt magic. That's what that is.
Can we talk a little bit about the other homosexuals that were in the conversion camp?
Yes.
What characters besides... What makes Melanie Linsky?
What makes Melanie Linsky?
Period. The lovable lesbian. Is she a lovable lesbian? Who the fuck is she? The goody two shoes?
Yeah, I mean, she kind of reads like a narc to me. But I don't know if she actually did any of the narking necessarily. That was all Sinead, right? And her accent, her natural accent, just...
I cannot believe that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is she Canadian, Australian, New Zealand?
I think that's New Zealand.
Damn.
We'll Wikipedia that. Yeah, no, that's her. Hillary, Melanie Lyneskey's character in this film is, I think, just kind of like a bit part. It's really interesting because they were all, Clea, Natasha, and Melanie, from what I've read, they all knew of each other before this, and I watched Variety's Actor on Actor with Natasha and Melanie, and they talk about, I don't know if this is real, I have no way to prove this, but Natasha talks about discovering the film because she found a script for it on the floor of Clea's car.
I need something to grip because I love the teenage reality there where you're constantly picking shit off of your friend's car and learning more about their lives and getting into it. Not a judgment sort of way, just yeah, that's so, very visceral to me.
Yeah. I don't think the Hillary character, I mean, I think the good thing, the reason that Hillary exists is to show that there are people that are faking their way through this program that we don't know why, right? Like, we kind of see some of Graham's reasons for why she's faking it. Her parents have money and she wants her trust fund, etc. We don't know why Hillary is faking it. We never learn, but we know that
she does it well.
She does it well, and she is certainly queer, and she's going to pass through that program and go back to whomever wanted her to go there and say, look, I'm not queer. I graduated at True Directions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. She's good at faking it.
And I mean, you introduced them to us, a whole litany of young lesbians who she was probably, because she probably said the least, she was the most realistic lesbian to me. Calm, quiet, self-controlled. She didn't go out to that one party, any of them.
Yeah, she wasn't invited, was she? See, like, all of that says, like, oh, this is the character that's the narc, but I don't know.
She never narked. No, she's just a good person.
Do people say narc these days?
Yes.
Okay, is that still a...
Well, I do. I do.
People on this pod use the slang
for sure.
narc to mean somebody that will tell on the authority of your wrongdoings.
I wanted to bring her up first because she had a bit part, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And Babbitt has said her intention was to show a different side of being a young lesbian. She nailed it. That was really cool. And it took me a while to really figure that out because in the film I was like, why is she even here? There's like a sound box or like, no, she's just another human trying to, like you said, pass. There's another story there, passing.
Literally, yeah. Passing.
Layers.
Oh, Babbitt.
Because you and I don't have to worry about passing anymore, but I know in high school, some level of passing was important.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to the physical touch stuff that you were talking about earlier with the subtlety of touch. I, maybe even because of this film, when I wasn't out, I was very hyper touching with male friends particularly, to the point at which, like, other girls would tell their friends, like, oh, why is she all over this person or this person? I was like, because I'm closeted and I know they're gay and it's not going to mean a thing, but I could touch them a lot so that then you can have these conversations about me and this person.
Oh my gosh. Truth being told on the pod. That's fascinating. That's fascinating. Yeah, I can see that. I did not have the wherewithal to pass that way. I mean, I still have to take my passing to work and stuff like that because I live in a conservative state and work with a lot of... I'm in a place, position where I have to be trusted with people.
Midwest is kind of don't ask, don't tell about stuff. Right? Like, it's not like you're outwardly denying...
Oh, it's definitely...
Or, like, showing up to events with women, right? You don't have beards. You just don't say anything, and nobody's going to ask you anything, because they don't want to know, unfortunately.
It depends. I do work for one particular business that is super open, and not like super open, not like pride flag parades and confetti, although they should figure that out. But like people will say my partner, and then that makes everyone who's queer question if it's a male or female partner. And then there's also like people who welcome, like, hey, tell us who you're with and who they are to you, and do that sort of introduction thing. Very family. Let's be there for one another. Let's be open, or at least allow the door to be open if you want to be. But as far as don't ask, don't tell, I feel like most places it's you ask, I might tell. They ask, I might tell. Or they ask and I tell too much until they figure it out. No one's hitting it directly. It's around.
Yeah, I mean, with coworkers in my work environment, I'm like, oh, my wife. My wife and I use those. But then with like clients or stakeholders, I might just use like a general we, or my partner. Which is weird because she's my wife, like legally. It seems like a demotion in that moment.
It's wild that partner still. We're gonna use it until we don't need it. We talked a little bit about Jan.
Oh yeah, go back. You had other thoughts about Jan.
Damn, Jan. So Jan has a messed up hairdo, and I don't know what that's about. I tried to look up, because we're talking about actors and if they are gay or not gay. I couldn't find Katrina Phillips a lot on her, but I did see that she played other queer characters. She's a beautiful woman. They had her in full, like, not waxed or anything, and they waxed her either offset or on... They waxed her for the effort of having a scene, and I just felt for that person. I'm using gender non-specifics because I don't know. I don't know what up with Jan. I don't know what's up with Jan. When she comes out as straight, because at that time Jan is a she, I get it. The way Mike, played by RuPaul, like, come on, you can't believe this. Like, RuPaul's character was just totally like, you're insane. You're absolutely a lesbian. You're the most lesbian person here, was what was being said in context.
Yeah. Who do you think?
Subtext.
Who does she think she's kidding?
Who does she think she's kidding is the line.
Who does she think she's kidding?
Oh, classic. Jan being the only character that actually goes to tears in this film, though. Maybe that was what hit me. Also, another brown character. Good for Babbitt, having brown people. Hell yeah. That was powerful for me. I really liked that moment where Jan is just fed up with it and tries to say her truth, and maybe it's the conversion truth, but Mike isn't even buying it. Like, some people cannot be straight enough.
Yeah. And if you live in a world where your entire
like Natasha Leone and Fred Armisen, you can't be straight enough for us. Sorry, I just realized the irony.
Fred Armisen and Natasha Leone were not straight enough for us. A funny bit about, and once again, these are words out of Natasha Leone's mouth that I saw once, and I think I'm remembering correctly. So there are possible twists to when people were asking her about the divorce. I remember her saying she wanted to live in California and have a pool, and he was just so New York. And I'm sure there was more drama and more emotions involved in a divorce, but I just thought that was the weirdest summary of relationship falling apart. But also, maybe they are just that cool, and they just, got to a point where they didn't want the same things in life anymore. And how fucking evolved is that if that's actually what happened?
And also, absolutely evolved, because she recognizes that she has a camera or microphone in her face. She's composed, mature, and knows what to do. Mm-hmm. Even if she's making it up as she goes along, she can pull herself up by her acting straps, deal with it in a succinct comedic way. That's beautiful. What a beautiful person. More round of applause for Natasha Lyonne. Shall we talk about Sinead? My heart goes out for Sinead as a character. Catherine Town, who's married to someone handsome and famous. Charlie Hunnam. Hunnam? Yeah. She's the spouse of Charlie Hunnam. Up until 2002. That was, never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, not really interesting there. That was just a cool character.
Yeah. I mean, Sinead is also like, I mean, they're all caricatures in their own way, but like, Sinead seemed so real and so unreal at the same time, because I feel like I've met this character, but it's just like taken up a notch. And they don't go into it once again because the film isn't about her, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm a goth isn't the name of the film.
One day.
But I'm a goth.
That actually doesn't put you anywhere.
Yeah, but, and I think that is more of like a cross section of like, you know, it almost goes back to Jan being, you know, a softball player or whatever. Like, we expect these stereotypes to be more real than a cheerleader being gay.
Yeah. Her masturbating all the time. That was wild to me. Everyone could hear her, but no one commented, no one did anything.
Right?
They just ignored.
She was practicing her aversion therapy.
She was practicing her aversion therapy. It was a vibrator.
The thing is...
Did it vibrate? I think it just electrically shocked.
I don't know. But, like, if you would have a person who says that they like pain, why would you give them why?
Back to aversion therapy. Why would you put some people through this?
Yeah. But, well, yeah, right? Why does anybody go through any aversion therapy? But why does somebody who finds pleasure in pain use electroshock therapy as an aversion method? I don't know if electroshock therapy averts the person in the same way.
As some of y'all might know, that, you know, one therapy doesn't work for everybody. I'm not arguing or helping those people out who did the ex-gay stuff, the conversion therapy, but that was provided as a blanket treatment for all spectrums, or all members of the not so heterosexual, which, as we've known today, is a full spectrum.
The inverts.
The inverts. It just lends it to that it really shouldn't work. Mm-hmm. If you're providing the same program for everybody, the same method, the same direction.
Yeah.
Zachary Quinto. Good job, him. Good job, him doing things. Male act. Before I move on to the female, our little clutch of hens. Who was the most real to you? I know they're one-dimensional characters. I know that some of them had more time in front of the camera. Maybe this is not even an important question.
If I bring myself back to 2001 and I let myself feel or try to feel what the characters are feeling, it's probably Megan.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same reason why that moment reads so true about when she's like saying all the reasons she isn't gay, is because I was also so not gay in 2001 or 2000 or even 2002 when I saw that, right? So like all those things that she lists, it's like, oh yeah, no, you're not gay, we're not gay, no. And then, you know, as she continues to discover that, it resonates for sure.
For me, it was Jan, that frustration, that breaking moment was so cool. So cool. Like no one else walked away.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like this whole other very real coming out. Jan's coming
Holy
out.
shit, it was!
Yeah.
She came out in conversion therapy.
Yeah.
Most likely to succeed. Let's play it as a yearbook. Because this is, for them, this might be the most...
It's Joel or Hillary. It's Joel or Hillary.
Okay.
Because I think Hillary will continue to pass when she needs to pass.
Oh.
And I think that's so, like... It goes back to Clea Duvall, right? Everybody in Clea Duvall's life knew she was a lesbian. Most of her friends, most of Clea Duvall's fans were like, okay.
I accept that you're straight. Right
You're
now.
doing whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
You know, but she was out where she wanted to be, and she didn't owe anything to anybody to you know, risk her career to say anything else, you know? If it was actually impacting her career. That's a whole...
She can tell that story.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you on that one because, like you said, she'll pass as she needs to pass, Hillary, and she doesn't have any stakes that are against her. She doesn't have a love interest amongst these women. She might not even have a love interest in high school right now.
Right.
I mean, maybe it's the benefit of being from New Zealand. She doesn't give a fuck what these Americans need or want from her. She has a whole country where she can go back to or figure out her life because her life is bigger. Holy crap, I didn't realize that her life is larger than everyone
Literally
else's.
larger than
Than
whatever
other teens.
corner of the United States these teens are.
Yeah. Can we do the boys?
Yeah.
We'll figure out a wrap up.
Yeah.
Okay. First, Mary Brown's son.
Eddie Caribbean. You know, I recognize his face.
He does so much.
Was he married to Leanne Rimes at one
Yes.
point? Okay. Yes, I've seen his face, so...
I mean, he's face hot. He's got the body that's going to always be thin. Even if he got chubby, it would literally just be an avocado waist. Just, that's it. Everything else would still be healthy fats, what I'm saying. He'd still be picked out first to date or dance with.
Oh.
Funny character.
Yeah.
That made me happy.
That character might be the, like, campiest of, like, the stories, because, like, he literally comes out to do something cliche or sexual and then goes back
And then walks off.
to whatever world he was living in before he did that one thing.
Yeah. I thought the highest point of this movie was going to be their final test where they pretend. Like, what was it called?
Simulated?
Intimacy?
Yes.
Simulated intimacy. He's going to be dressed up in a full onesie with a leaf over his crotch, and the ladies are going to have a full onesie with leaves over their boobs and crotch. And Megan and Graham have been discovered. They've been outed. Fucking Sinead. Real character. Real moment there. I would have been the Sinead. I have been the Sinead. Apologies will not be cast out on the pod. And they are interviewed by Mary Brown, and Mary Brown says, you know, this is your last chance. You have to pass this or whatever. And Megan looks out the window and he's dancing outside and says, I don't think that's gonna work. That was so cute to me. Just like this panic, like, I don't think I can do that. I can't pass because of me. I can't pass because of your son. But yeah, can't be. Yeah, he was just a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, story person. Joel the Jew. Played by Joel McAlee. I'll say it again, for me the hottest. He was the hottest, most adorable, sweet boy. I have a thing for guys with beards, and on the set, he clearly was shaving every day, because that was a lot. An even matte appearance. So sweet. I mean, the guys all kind of blended together, to be honest, for me.
Mm-hmm. He just seems so naive and innocent, right? Which is adorable. But, like, when Graham pretends to have a crush on him or whatever, It's so, like, oh, so naive. He wants to.
I felt like him when I was cast to play heterosexual roles. That was the energy I was giving in life.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
That makes me uncomfortable to realize, but it's the truth. Just a good boy. Really. Just a good boy trying to do good boy things. Dolph, the masculine wrestler, I think his root was that he...
Too many showers in the varsity locker room.
Very specific. He was a very articulate homosexual.
Mm-hmm.
Would have loved to have dated a Dolph in my time.
I was like... I mean, I think Dolph is also pretty real to me. Like, I feel like I didn't know that male character in high school, but I've since known men who said they were that person.
Yeah.
So I think he's also, and maybe it's because he's the athletic one, right? But he's also like the least feminine stereotype of the gay bunch.
This is where that feminine stereotype comes in, though, where he is the most sensitive, maturely emotional, like emotionally mature person. Like, he's really there for Megan and like is super sweet and super kind, and not just because he's gay and not trying to make a pass at her, but because he genuinely cares about her growth and comfort and sense of who she is, her happiness.
Yeah. I
thought that was a very cool character.
So the scene where Megan is masturbating, not using the aversion device, but clearly masturbating, holding the aversion device, and chanting the mantra or whatever of True Directions, and sees them kissing, is so painful.
Oh yeah.
And real, but so fucking painful, because like you want to like Megan, and you do like Megan, but like screams and has a reaction, and it's just like, oh, come the fuck on. Like, why?
Very 17, very three-dimensional.
Yeah, there are some layers going on there, right? Like, she actually, I mean, to me, the fact that while she's masturbating, she's saying these steps is, and she says them again, too, when they enter the gay bar that the older gay guys take them to. I think some part of Megan was actually trying to do this program. Like, so she goes from thinking she's not gay to realizing she's gay to wanting to fix it in, like, the course of 2 days. That's a lot of, like...
She's not a pros and cons kind of gal. I bet Hillary had a pros and cons list to keep her mentally on track. Yeah. Megan, she's trying to figure it out. So, yeah, you said... You were talking about the scene where Dolph and Sunny, not the character, not even the character, Clayton.
Yeah, so she's masturbating and she
catches them behind Mary Brown's desk.
Behind the desk, on the floor, laying down, making out. And her reaction is to scream, ew.
Loudly.
Very loudly, enough to wake the other people in the house.
And to not care about their secret.
Mm-hmm.
The way the conversion therapy... Well, the way Mary Brown has set up their homes, her intent was to connect boys and girls together. Maybe not these boys and girls, but she separates them into girl group, boy group. So of course she's going to say, ew, boys making out. Because 1, she's a lesbian. 2, she's a little girl. She's not supposed to see that. She knows the rules. And 3, she's freaking out, like you said. She's going through her process and she's rejecting all the homosexuality.
Right. Yeah.
But like, fuck you, Mary Brown. Figure it out. You've separated the boys from the girls, and the whole purpose of your program is to bring them together.
Mm-hmm.
We can get into Mary Brown's like what Babbitt says about conversion therapy and the bizarre intent to instill gender roles as a safety net for sexual divergence.
Yeah, gender roles and understanding gender roles as a way to fix sexual deviance.
Which is why Jan had to get the fuck out of there.
Right. Oh, man. But yeah, like that is kind of like the crux of...
It's why she's failing.
But
nothing to say about Clayton, I guess.
I mean, I think we kind of already talked about it after talking about Dolph. I mean,
he's
always been pretty. We've seen him in Remember the Titans before this. I think there are comments in that movie about him being pretty.
Yeah. He was in the doghouse for most of the movie. The way he crawled out of that was so, like, I understand, like, it was funny, but also dehumanizing. And the last boy, Andre, played by Douglas Spain. Douglas Spain has the coolest career after this. He went on to direct and stuff like that. But
good for him.
Very handsome dude in some of these shots. Obviously, like, they're all for camera. But
he has the worst haircut of anybody in the. I mean, okay, hold on. Yeah, like
he was the fruity boy that when he left, when he got dismissed because he didn't pass any of the gender roles tests.
Yes, that is a beautiful moment, and I wish I knew exactly what he says. Right, so he gets
cut out on them.
He gets cut from the program because he's too feminine, and they just did all of these gender role tests, and Joel, of all people, is comforting him, but mostly coming on to him, telling him that he's beautiful and firm.
Yeah.
Or something equally weird, but.
And I've been there. Absolutely unintentional garbage coming out of your mouth because it's from the heart. Your heart's all twisted up and shit.
Yeah, and he pops off and is like, "Oh, and you're coming on to me, honey. At least I know who I am, shit," or something along
those. Do you really think this is what I need right now?
Yes.
Please. Something to that effect, yeah.
Yeah, and it goes back to that stereotype, but also, like, I think these moments where, like, this camp extremeness meets, like, these real scenarios makes it more, like, palatable to straight people who don't want to see themselves as villains, right? Because they can be like, "Oh my god, that's so funny, ha ha ha!" But he's a good person, and I still care about him.
Program.
And I would never treat a person like that, you know, because they would never be Mary Brown. Because who the fuck would be Mary Brown? Like, I don't, you know, like, it's easy to take these extreme characters and to say, like, "Oh, that's not me," right? So I think there's something palatable about these moments for people in the closet too, like.
And I love that Babbitt leans on the queerest people to tell the truth or to really drive the story. I don't know how I feel about the phrase camp or the idea that camp is not real. We live in a post-John Waters world. My roommate thought this was a John Waters film.
He like walked in and was like, "Wait, what John Waters movie are you watching?" And you're like, "Actually, no." I don't think it's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I don't think it's as biting or as, like, sardonic as a John Waters film. I think it's happier than a John Waters film.
It's happy. Yeah. And I just like that Babbitt leaned on her. That's all I have to say. Or leaned on Andre. And that actor just killed it. And maybe he couldn't recover from that extremely homosexual. I mean, I think part of the risk here that we're not talking about is, like, the risk for these young actors to play gay. Because some of these actors look as gay as their character. And this was a film too early for a young person to...
okay, we need to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying this podcast out with me. I really liked watching this movie because I had not seen it in a long time, and it really grounded me in my own personal experiences. And thank you for letting me go through all the characters.
You're welcome. No, I think it's a good gateway drug to the addiction of gay culture that comes. I mean, Babbitt herself infuses a lot of life into cinema. I mean, we could probably start an entire podcast dedicated to the L Word, right? And she was part of that team. And yeah, I mean, I think there's just a lot more. We'll see a lot of these faces, most of these faces again, as we continue this journey through early 2000s queer nostalgia.
Yeah. I want to thank the actors for giving a chance and just, trying to make their money and playing a big risk for us. Like, we are faceless to them. We will be faceless to them. And I know for many of them, they're trying to make some money, trying to have their life, but really fucking cool to do this with.
Absolutely. Whatever they saw in the script, they brought it to life, and it resonates and it still resonates. It's important to me. I think it's important to the community in general.